would you like to do a series with Red Fox? And I said, Red Fox? Who's going to put him on television? Are you nuts? They'll never put him on television. He said, well, I think you guys need to meet to see if there's anything there.
They were TV's funniest duo, but when Red Fox died, Demond Wilson was nowhere to be seen, leaving fans stunned and wondering why Lamont would skip Fred Sanford's funeral. Rumors of resentment, betrayal, and deeper conflicts swirled for years, but the truth is far more complex. When Sanford and Son premiered on NBC in 1972, it wasn't just another sitcom. It was a groundbreaking moment in American television, introducing audiences to a black father-son duo whose dynamic was both hilarious and emotionally resonant. Red Fox, already a legendary comedian known for his raw, explicit party albums, brought his gritty charm to the role of Fred Sanford, a crusty junk dealer in Watts, Los Angeles, while newcomer Demond Wilson played his long-suffering but loyal son, Lamont. Their on-screen chemistry was electric, Fox's cranky, conniving Fred clashing perfectly with Wilson's grounded, no-nonsense Lamont, and the show quickly became a ratings powerhouse. Off-screen, Fox initially took Wilson under his wing, treating him like a younger brother, and advocating for his co-star to receive better billing and recognition. For a time, their bond mirrored the father-son relationship they portrayed. By 1974, the series was at its peak, but Fox was growing increasingly frustrated with NBC over what he saw as financial, professional, and racial inequities compared to white television stars with similar ratings. Feeling underpaid, disrespected, and denied basic perks, Fox demanded higher pay, better working conditions, and a renovated dressing room, framing these grievances as issues of racial discrimination, claims that resonated deeply with the black community and fellow entertainers. When NBC refused to meet his demands, Fox walked off the set in the third season and was suspended, with the network replacing him temporarily with Whitman Mayo as Grady Wilson. During Fox's absence, Demo and Wilson was thrust into the spotlight as the central figure of the show. Publicly, Wilson expressed hope for Fox's return, but privately, his decision to continue working and promoting the show strained their relationship. Fox expected Wilson to stand in solidarity and refuse to perform without him, but Wilson, bound by contract and focused on building his own career, chose to keep working. To Fox, this felt like betrayal after all he had done to elevate Wilson's career. To Wilson, it was a complicated choice between loyalty and survival in the entertainment industry. Demond Wilson's growing reputation in Hollywood may have made him hesitant to jeopardize his career by blindly siding with Red Fox during the 1974 standoff with NBC. And it's possible he resented Fox's expectation of unwavering loyalty, especially since Fox's departure had placed him in such a difficult professional position. When Fox eventually returned to Sanford and Son with a higher salary, upgraded dressing room, and greater creative control, the camaraderie between the two men was gone. Their once warm off-camera bond had fractured. Fox never forgot what he saw as Wilson's failure to stand with him, while Wilson grew disillusioned with Fox's ego and the volatile atmosphere on set. The walkout became a turning point, financially rewarding for Fox, but emotionally costly for both. Though the show reclaimed its popularity, the underlying tension remained. According to Unsung Hollywood, the heart of the strain was money. Fox's renegotiated deal made him one of the highest-paid actors on television, while Wilson stayed under his original contract, earning far less despite being in nearly every scene. To Wilson, the disparity felt deeply unjust, especially since he had carried the show during Fox's absence. Making matters worse, he perceived that Fox hadn't fought for his raise the way he had. Resentment grew, conversations became clipped, and creative disagreements piled on as Fox, wielding new clout, took greater control over the show's direction. Wilson, who saw himself as an actor with range and vision, was often left out of decisions, fueling his frustration. Fox began to view Wilson as ungrateful, while Wilson saw Fox as arrogant and selfish. By the final season, Their almost familial bond had devolved into a cold, transactional partnership. Off-camera camaraderie was replaced by icy exchanges, and the set became tense and fragmented, with cast and crew walking on eggshells. Some episodes were filmed with minimal communication between the leads, each man focused solely on his own performance. Yet the on-screen chemistry between Fred and Lamont persisted, a testament to their professionalism. When Sanford and Son ended in 1977, so did one of television's most beloved comedic duos, leaving behind not reconciliation, but a lasting estrangement built on resentment, disappointment, and silence. Once the cameras stopped rolling, so did their relationship forever. After the cancellation of Sanford and Son, Redd Foxx wasted no time returning to his roots in stand-up comedy. That same year, he launched the Redd Foxx Comedy Hour on ABC, aiming to capitalize on his mainstream fame while returning to the uncensored humor that had made him a legend on the nightclub circuit. The show featured a mix of sketches, celebrity guests, and edgy monologues, many of which reminded audiences that Foxx had never been one to mince words. But conspicuously absent from the new show's lineup was Demond Wilson. Despite their years working together, Foxx made no effort to include his former co-star, and in one of his stand-up routines during that period, he offered what many perceived as a thinly veiled jab at Wilson, quipping about someone who had stabbed me in the back. A line Weddell he interpreted as a shot at the man who had once played his on-screen son. While Foxx navigated the turbulent waters of post-sitcom fame, Wilson underwent a personal and spiritual transformation. Disillusioned with Hollywood and soured by the behind-the-scenes drama that had defined his time on Sanford and Son, Wilson turned his back on the industry altogether. He dove headfirst into religion, becoming a devout Christian and eventually an ordained minister, dedicating his life not to laughter, but to salvation. He began preaching across the United States and abroad, often speaking out against the very world that had once given him fame. In a 1994 interview in Spain, he described Hollywood as an evil industry, citing greed, egos, and moral decay he had witnessed firsthand. He made it clear he had no intention of returning, not for acting roles, nostalgic reunions, or to rekindle his broken relationship with Redd Foxx. The door was closed firmly and without apology. As the years passed, the silence between them only grew louder. Foxx went on to star in the early 1990s CBS sitcom The Royal Family, a show cut short by his sudden death in 1991 from a heart attack. The tragedy sent shockwaves through Hollywood, and fans of Sanford and Son wondered if Wilson would appear at the funeral to honor the man with whom he had once made television history. The answer was no. Demond Wilson did not attend, and when asked about his absence years later on the talk show Talking with T in 2006, his reply was as cold as it was definitive. "We weren't speaking at the time of his death. I have my reasons." He offered no elaborate explanation, no emotional eulogy, and no expression of regret. Whatever had transpired between them had severed the bond beyond repair. Their lack of reconciliation remains one of television's most poignant and unresolved chapters. While millions of fans continued to cherish the father-son banter of Fred and Lamont Sanford, the reality behind the scenes was far darker. Two men who once shared a powerful professional connection ultimately parted ways, not with celebration, but with silence. Even in retrospectives and anniversary specials celebrating the legacy of Sanford and Son, Wilson rarely participates, and he does. He seldom mentions Foxx by name. The bitterness runs deep, the wounds still unhealed. For his part, Foxx maintained the air of a man who had been betrayed, never explicitly naming Wilson in interviews, but never denying the fallout either.